Last year, the United States had one of the lowest rates of all violent crimes in more than 50 years. Murder, rape, aggravated assault, robbery all dropped sharply, along with burglary, property crime, and theft. Since day one, my administration has been working with law enforcement, mayors, and community leaders to do what we know works.
Really? President Biden touting last year's reported lower crime rates during a White House speech last week, saying he's been working with the leadership in these cities. He failed to mention the illegal migrant crime wave across the country, including the death and murder of 22-year-old Georgia student Laken Riley, whose alleged killer was an illegal Venezuelan national who entered the country in September of 2022 through El Paso. Joining me right now with some facts is Fraternal Order of Police National Vice President Joe Gamaldi. Joe, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Give us your reaction to what you just heard from President Biden.
Yeah, I don't know what alternate reality he's living in or what plan he's talking about, but it ain't working. I mean, if he just looked out his front door, murders are up 38% in Washington, D.C. Carjackings are up 100%. And when you look nationwide, we've had over 20,000 homicides the last 3 years. We haven't seen those numbers in 30 years. Retail theft is over $100 billion. There's businesses closing left and right. There's crime and disorder everywhere you look. So if President Biden really wants to help, how about he tell rogue DAs and activist judges who support these revolving door criminal justice policies to grow a spine and actually do their job? And while he's at it, why don't he convince the rest of his party to stop treating cops like crap in America?
Well, I don't understand how he gets away with this, really, to be honest with you, Joe, because, look, stop telling us that the sky is black when the sky is blue. Stop telling us that it's sunny out when it's raining out. We all know what's going on. We are living it. We just spoke with the sheriff in Arizona who said he's never heard from the administration. Then we spoke with Raul Ortiz, who was on 60 Minutes last night. He said he's never heard from Joe Biden and he's never heard from Kamala Harris. So what is Biden saying to us when he says, I'm working with the sheriffs and the local police? It doesn't seem that he does. And then there's residents in Austin, Texas. They're outraged over police shortages and longer 911 call times after the city council's vote to defund the police department in 2020. Austin Police Association President Michael Bullock told Fox News Digital a steady decline in public safety has put the city on the, quote, brink of disaster. Go to Chicago, where 2 police officers were injured after a stray bullet hit the windshield of their police car. The suspects allegedly shooting at a group of men walking down the street, Joe. So how is it possible that Joe Biden is reading from these note cards, reading from the teleprompter with all of these, rainbows and puppy dogs narratives when we're, in fact, living a completely different story?
Yeah, it's the classic don't believe your lying eyes and everything you're seeing. And I mean, just to tell you how bad it is in Austin, they defunded their police by $150 million. Then the next year, they had their highest ever recorded murder rate. They're down 600 officers. They can't even respond to calls. But that's just another chapter in the war on cops that is raging in this country. We had 378 police officers shot last year. That's a 60% increase over the last 5 years. In 2024, this year, we're already outpacing those historic numbers. And you would think that maybe the president could hold a national address condemning the violence against law enforcement. Not a peep, Maria. I mean, we are being attacked every single day for the uniform we wear, and he can't even make a statement. Our leaders are asleep at the wheel, and our entire profession is suffering.
I mean, come on. We need some honesty here. We got it last week when I spoke with the former NYPD Commissioner, Ray Kelly. What's really concerning me, Joe, is the fact that we've got some serious gangs right now in New York. I know that there are gangs going all over the country right now because they're entering the country through the wide open border. But specifically, the NYPD has told me about a gang that's very dangerous from Venezuela, who's in the country right now, and they are raging throughout New York. Ray Kelly addressed it when I spoke with him recently as well. Here is the former NYPD commissioner. Watch this.
We know that they're established in several South American countries, and they've been there for a while, say for at least 12 years. They've only fairly recently moved to New York, but they've moved that whole operation. They've moved their MO of stealing phones, sending them back to Colombia, having them cleansed and then sold. They're stealing bags from women riding on scooters that they'll pull up next to them, take the bag, take off, and they're gone in a flash. So those are the two kind of primary ways that they've been making money in the city. But they also are involved in human trafficking and drugs.
What do you think about these gangs, Joe? What do you know about it?
Well, of course they're operating in New York because guess what? They know they're not going to be held accountable for their actions thanks to the revolving door criminal justice system. I mean, as a country, Maria, we need to get back to basics here. Stop prioritizing criminals over victims. Stop prioritizing people who come to this country illegally over those who are citizens who came here legally or are doing it the right way. And basically, how about we just stop prioritizing people who break the law over those who follow it? Because I'll tell you right now, if we were willing to throw the book at these dirtbags who are doing these robberies, I assure you we could throw them in jail and then immediately deport them out of the country. But until we secure the border, it doesn't do us much good because they come right back in.
Really serious stuff and disappointing. Joe, it's great to get your take. Thanks so much. Joe Gamaldi joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.